name's Samantha Kotlick.
And I'm Mairead Smilik.
And we're here today with Kimberly Brooks from the Brooks Insurance Group in Sarasota to talk all things home insurance. And Kim is our go-to, so she's the expert.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Kim. The first question we have for you is, how do homeowners improve their property's insurance rates or decrease insurance rates?
So there are a few things that a person can do, and that is to get impact windows. Along with that, you'd have to have garage doors and that kind of thing. Install alarm systems is a good way to do it. And a lot of people are retrofitting their roofs so that they have the clip credit for the hurricane.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
the nail heads, I forgot about that.
Yes, so they're adding the third nail.
Yep.
So just going back to what you said about windows, because sometimes I'll be showing a buyer a property and, you know, the front of the house has had all these beautiful impact windows, and then you get to the back and the sliding doors are still original. And, you know, you ask the homeowner and they say, well, I didn't get to those because they were still working. Will the buyer still get the credits for the wind mitigation?
So in order to get the impact protection credit, all openings in the home have to be protected, including the garage door, skylights, or anything.
So any transoms above a front door, everything needs to be impact
Everything
rated.
has to be impact rated to get the credit.
That's
Correct.
really, really valuable to know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. So going back to the conversation on roofs in Florida right now, we know that it's a challenge sometimes with insurability. What are you seeing in terms of roof life? And then what are you also finding when the roof is older, ways to navigate through that to be able to insure a property?
So most companies are taking shingle roofs that are 10 years and newer and tile and metal roofs that are 20 years or newer. Some companies now, what they're doing is adding an actual cash value option to the policy.
Oh.
So they will depreciate the roof over time, and that will save on premium, and it'll give you an option on an older roof and still be able to insure it with certain companies.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's a great way to kind of get around it. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Roofs have been a very hot topic
Yes.
in
it's
our
one of the
world over the
first
last
questions
few years.
we ask when we show
Yeah.
property. How old's the
How
roof?
old's the roof?
That's right.
Something else that often comes up, we sell waterfront homes, and the elevation certificate is obviously, you know, something that we're asked about frequently. What is an elevation certificate? You know, to people who've never even heard that term, what is an elevation certificate and what does it mean?
So an elevation certificate is something the surveyor will do to show the elevation of the home in comparison to the base flood elevation. It will also show you what kind of venting the property has and so forth. So we use a lot of different areas on that. But for the average consumer, what you really need to be looking at is the base flood elevation as compared to the lowest floor of the home, the lowest living area. So if the base flood is below the lowest living area, the premium will be lower than vice versa.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and your survey person can do that when you're under contract and
Correct.
really give you a good idea. Are you hearing that more carriers are coming into the state?
I am. We have had a few new carriers come in, which is good, and we've also had several of our companies opening up more capacity, meaning that they'll write more insurance in certain areas. So it's all good. More competition, the better for the consumer.
Good news for all of us.
Hopefully that means the rates will start to come down at some point.
Exactly.
Right.
And something that we've been hearing about, and I don't know whether it's true, but we have heard a rumor to say that even if you're not in a flood zone, but you know, are insured, you're going to have to carry flood insurance at some point. Is that something that you can tell
Well,
us
that
about?
is not true for private carriers, but for Citizens Property Insurance, which is a state-run insurance carrier, that is true.
Okay.
Last year, all parties who had a Citizens policy that were in a flood zone had to carry flood insurance. This year, even if you're not in a flood zone, if you're insured for $600,000 or more, you have to carry flood insurance if you have Citizens insurance. They are phasing that in over the next few years. So next year it'll be if you have a home insured for $500,000 or more, you have to carry flood insurance, even if you're not in a flood zone. So that's just with Citizens insurance.
Okay.
I just thought of something that we kind of addressed earlier in the interview, and that is the home inspection. There's a 4-point inspection. And I know we addressed the roof, but I also know that electrical panels come up, hot water heaters sometimes come up. Do you want to speak about things that when we're at a home inspection that buyers should be looking at for age of that might affect their insurance policy?
Sure. So there are certain types of electrical panels that are not suitable for insurance companies, so those would have to be replaced.
Okay.
Any loose wiring, things like that, rusted out plumbing. Hot water heaters, most companies want to see the hot water heater be 10 years or newer.
Okay.
So all of those, the 4-point inspection is plumbing, electrical, heating, AC, and the roof.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, great. So when we're having a home inspection, it's really important to just really think about that then. Do I need a 4-point? Am I going to need a wind mitigation? Because it's much easier for the inspector to actually do that while they're there than have to come back out, right?
And we're really good about really telling our clients that during that home inspection period, one of the first things we're doing is emailing your office going, what's the insurance quote going to be? So there are no surprises at the closing table. And we're really good about kind of, following up with our clients to make sure that happens.
Right.
So thank you for that partnership.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
My pleasure.
So also for people who are considering selling their home, a really great idea is to have a home inspection and just kind of get in front of some of these issues, like how old is your electrical panel? How old is your roof? And that way, when you list your home, there are no surprises. You know what might come up, and we can kind of help you navigate through that. And that's something we do all of the time, and we're very comfortable. And there are things that you can do to your home that will improve your value and also the purchase price at the end. So sometimes it's a really good investment to make.
And I know we were just talking about flood insurance a moment ago, but is there any way, I know rates increase in flood insurance like they do every insurance. If you're buying a property that has flood insurance, is it an option to take over the seller's flood insurance?
Yes, there is. And typically that's the best option because you can typically sign a form with the insurance company, have the policy transferred to the new owner, pay the prorated premium to the seller, and you can keep the rate that the seller had.
That's really great to know, because I think when a lot of people, if they let their policy lapse and then go to get their flood insurance a couple of years later, the amount that it's gone up.
The rates have changed tremendously, yes.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Just has to happen on the day of closing. It cannot happen the day after closing.
Correct.
Very important point to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, whoever your real estate agent is, make sure they're on the ball. they're helping you out with that one.
Yes.
Kimberly, I think that's it. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
sharing
My
your
pleasure.
expertise and being here today. And we'll provide Kimberly's details at the end of the video. And I know she would love to help you out with your insurance needs.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
She saved the day on many an occasion.
Many occasions, saved our clients money and also made sure they were properly insured. So can't say enough about her.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.